Well, hello, everybody. Welcome back to Day to Day with Greg Michelson. I'm real excited to be here, joined by Roey Zalta, whom I just only met recently, actually, through Podstars, right?
Yeah, that's correct. A great community, actually. I been meeting with great people from that community, and it's a great way to connect, hosting a podcast, and learn more about AI and other stuff as well.
Awesome. Well, give us the rundown on you. What's your background? What are you interested in? What are you doing these days?
Well, it's actually pretty interesting. This week was my first week in Microsoft. Actually, I started a new job there. Yeah.
Okay.
But today I will talk. Because I'm pretty much new over there. I will talk with my hat as the chief AI officer in PwC Israel, actually. And I think it's really interesting, talking about the state of AI. And I'm talking about the state of AI this week, because it's changing so constantly. I mean, this week, let's says, I think the hot topics right now are mold bot, probably the
Or
things
what?
people are mold bot. Have you heard about that? I mean, Claude bot, mold bot.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Yeah, so I think this is the hot topic. I mean, this week, and you know, the thing I do every morning is spending almost like an hour on Twitter,
Mhm.
and getting so many information about what's new in AI right now. Because this is, I'm not sure it's the best resource, but it's probably the resource that you'll find like the most interesting and unusual stuff online about what's new in AI and what people are actually doing. And I have really cool, good use cases to talk with you about. I mean, stuff that I heard people are doing, and I'll be happy to share with you guys some of that.
Yeah. How's this whole LLM thing impacted the way that PwC did business or does business?
Well, I mean, PwC Israel specifically, PwC Next, actually, the company I worked for, they decided, as same as other companies, like bigger corporation companies, decided they want to be agentic companies, actually, which is pretty much big words for saying we understand that agentic AI it's great. It's still on the early days, but we understand that also in the upcoming years, companies will have human employees and agentic employees, AI employees, and they're gonna work together. So that gonna do and some other stuff a human gonna do, and I mean, it's really a good idea to actually prepare yourself for that and think about what can I automate already on my company? How do I prepare that? And, also identity. I mean, how do I treat those the agentic employees?
I saw the CEO, I think of McKinsey, came out and said that they've got 20,000 agentic employees right now. And
Wow.
I thought, yeah, that doesn't seem right. Like maybe that's hype. I don't know. What do you think?
That's actually a lot. I mean, I know that the PwC, the global company, is really advanced actually on whatever related to AI. They have actually something called Agent OS, which they implemented for many companies like big banks in the US, which is like their way of like, do you know NA10? So it's like the corporate way of NA10. How do you can create automatic workflows on your company, connect various tools and internal tools, and this is something they really invested on, and they think it's really going to impact. And I know they have like customers that are using it. And I think it's funny because we're talking about PwC. Everybody thinking about financial company, but the advisory of PwC it's huge. I mean, they understood like on the early days that we're sitting with those like most of the companies in the world right now, like, and so we have this resource and we must use it to, do advisory. And then from advisory, cloud computing became so popular. So they decided, okay, we're gonna do professional services of cloud computing, cybersecurity, and most recently, of course, AI. And right now it's actually agentic AI. They understand that if you can implement agentic workforce with whichever cloud provider you want, you can do amazing things for businesses. And I actually been seeing it myself. I mean, we've been doing amazing stuff for Israeli companies, Israeli government. It's been really popular.
I'm curious as to how you feel about how much of it is hype versus how much of it is legit. Are organizations actually getting value out of this, or is it mostly a science project?
I'm pretty much afraid of the AI bubble. I think
Okay.
everybody are. It
Yeah.
is probably, as I think somebody told me that people thought that, I mean, they treated cloud computing as a bubble as well back in those days, probably like 10 years ago. But I mean, over here, I think the hype is mostly because, it's everybody are talking about it. It's really hype, and the phase of the development is really like it's fast. I mean, but if you look at that, Anthropic CEO, he says like almost a year ago, AI is going to write most of the code, and everybody thought that sounds ridiculous. But at the end of it, if I'm looking today, and I'm pretty much talking with so many companies and developers, everybody using Cloud Code or other tools. I I can say about myself personally, I haven't written like myself a line of code for more than a year. I mean, I'm not writing code, and from what I'm understanding, big companies and technology companies, uh, the companies don't expect you to write code anymore. I mean, if you're writing code yourself, you're too slow. You won't you won't make it today. So I mean, developers are the big they're getting the really big impacts from agentic AI. But what we're talking about, like the agentic workforce and effect we're talking about, this is when it gonna comes to like financial institution and those things you're gonna encounter on your day-to-day life. That's when it's gonna be like really big impact, because developers are always the early adopters of those technologies.
Mm. Well, certainly at Zerv, we found huge adoption of agentic coding. So Zerv is a coding environment. We do Python and R and SQL coding. It's like a agentic development environment for data. And we discovered when we rolled out our agent that 95% of the code that gets written in Zerv is written by the agent. And
Yeah,
so, and that's legit. Like that's real data. That's not hype or anything like that. People are going out and they're discovering that using the agent to help you write code is outrageously more efficient.
of
But
course.
I do think you're right that developers are early adopters. Who's next in terms of adopting this stuff?
I'm gonna tell you that I think, in my opinion, the big impact gonna be on the CFO level and the financial employees. In my opinion, it's gonna really make a big impact. My wife actually, she's economist, so I pretty much know this field from close look. And I think there's so many stuff they do there. I mean, from data analysis to doing a lot of many repetitive annually things they do all the time that can be automated with agentic AI. But you know what's the challenge? You know why they're not already using it? Because it requires a lot of business logic. And when it comes to business logic, you need really good context engineering. And in my opinion, it only comes when you understand the business well and the business logic. And it's really hard because you know, I was surprised when I became a developer that most of there's not many documentation about developing. I mean, the developer world is lack of documentation. So the financial world is more lack of documentation. There's really a big problem of documentation. People are leaving, people are going, and it's not an easy things to do it. And there's so many, you know, uh, uh, financial workflows that are broken for years, and they keep being broken. So if you add agentic AI to a broken process, it's just gonna keep being a broken process.
Only worse.
So yeah. So what I found, what I advise to companies is that we're first trying to understand the business logic, and sometimes we understand that the business logic is broken. That's and the way it's working at the moment. So agentic AI won't help here. You need something else. So it's really important to understand the difference between automation and agentic workflow. So they come together, but sometimes automation is enough, and sometimes agentic without human interpretation and human consent inside of it can be really, it's not the great fit, in my opinion.
Yeah, I've never seen a agentic workflow that could work that didn't have a human in the loop. Like we're not
Y-
there yet.
we're not I mean, for developers as well, and I don't think there's any field that human in the loop can be out of it for right now. That's one of the challenges for sure.
Yeah, the guardrail problem is a real problem. An agent is only as useful as the things that it can do, but as soon as you let it start doing things, then suddenly it can do things, and it can do things you don't want. And so
Of
it can get
yeah,
scary.
yeah, for sure.
So you said you had some use cases that you were interested in talking about. Tell us
hmm
what you have in mind.
So yeah, I'll start by saying to the people that are listening to us, I almost a year ago start developed the first agentic multi-agent process in my career, which was end up as being one of the first multi-agent system in Hebrew in Israel. Actually, I found out it was for a big insurance company here in Israel, and it was a big success actually. But there was so many challenges because it was early. I mean, it's still early, but you know, controlling a bunch of agents together, answering customers about problems, going to databases, doing RAG and all those kind of stuff together, it's really hard to evaluate as well. So I found myself that evals are a really big challenge, but also a really great opportunity for product managers. And
Mm,
that's where I, end up finding about the thing called the product generalist, actually, which is
okay.
like a new profession that's saying, product managers needs to be better at AI, but they can really enhance and make AI projects faster if they be really good at, the evaluation part, because evaluation really requires understanding the business and building a good data set for evaluation for agents. So
Well,
if it's a yeah,
explain a little bit more about what you mean by evals and evaluation.
yeah. So if we are building a genetic system, either one agent or multiple agent or not agent at all, just a simple RAG, we want to have a set of questions and answer that we expect the agent to answer based on those questions. So let's say we're doing a RAG application. Drag application is about answering about documents. So we need to take those documents and create enough questions for the LLM to answer about, and we can evaluate it about the questions in two ways. The first way is human evaluation, where we ask him about a bunch of questions, we get the answer, and then the business will, evaluate each answer. Either it's good or bad, and mostly we go for binary, so good or bad, and they can add comments about it. So that's pretty much always the first step, because we're doing not a large set of questions, and we want to get like some kind of like a big picture where we at. And when
Mm.
we go for scale, we want to do automation and we want to have a CI/CD about it. Then we go for auto eval, and on auto eval we do like big evaluation and many questions, and we must set the expected answer, which is called ground truth. And every time, the agent will answer about each questions. Another LLM will evaluate the answers, and he will score how much this answer is close to the ground truth. And then we get like a score mostly, and the score will be like a range from I don't know 0 to 100 or from 0 to 10, and we get this score and it will tell us, how good it get us some kind of like a metric, how good is our agent right now. And from there we can grow and can set a KPI. We want to be at, I don't know, 98%, and we want to release a new agent unless it's above, I don't know, 95%. So it's really becoming a more like a machine learning, classic machine learning to produce those kind of agent. And you know the connection with the business is really important here, and the business, they get their metrics, they know how good the application is, and they feel safer about releasing it to customers.
So the first step in evaluating these guys is human intervention. You could dive in there, read the answers, score them. And the
hmm
second is at scale, using a large language model to do that evaluation and scoring.
Yeah.
Is that a training step, or is that happening in real time, or is that how does that work logistically?
We want to do it as many times as possible, because we want to know how each change affect our application and our LLM, and we want to make sure that if I added the prompt a little bit, or I added an extra tool to the agent, I want to make sure I didn't broke anything else. So I want to run the same evaluation over and over, and I want to make sure the evaluation is updated with the data. let's say I added another tool. I want to evaluate this tool, and I want to make enough questions that it will evaluate the ability of the agents to call the tool, use the tool, and get the actual data and answer. Do it actually the retrieval from this data.
Mhm.
So we want to do it as many as possible. On classic programming, we have unit testing. On machine learning, we have smoke testing, and here we have eval actually. So it's a must, and it's an art that I think there are some kind of really cool people I'm following online that are becoming an artist of evaluation, and it will become standard. And as AI adoption will rise, eval will be the key, in my opinion.
Now,
It is the key.
I guess there's two kinds of adoption, right? So you have companies, whether they're going to adopt like these chatbots that are smart and agentic that can work with customers and answer their questions and do things for them. But then there's also customers. Are customers going to be willing to talk to an AI in order to get stuff done? And right
Yeah.
now, I try to bypass those things just personally. Like if I see that I'm talking to an automated chatbot, I'm like representative, and I try to bypass those things. Do you do that?
So So I actually tried to go with it. I mean, there's a really great company here in Israel called Wonderful,
Wonderful.
and they're called Wonderful AI, and I talked with them a couple of times. They're amazing in my opinion, and at the moment they control the entire customer agents, LLM agents of all of many big companies of Israel. They phone call agents. So let's say I had a how do I find out about them? I called Maccabi, which is like our you know uh, customer support for healthcare stuff, and the agent answered for me. And Hebrew is a really hard language to get a good tune and find the how words are spoken in Hebrew. And the agent spoke amazing, and it answered about my problem in a really good way. And then when I had really, complicated questions, it uh, it took the decision to move my appointment to a human representative. But it answered successfully. It was really amazing, and that's the reason this company is so really amazingly doing right now. And all the companies, banks are using it right now because they have a fine-tuned Hebrew voice agent, and they're doing amazing. I mean, really, a really good company.
These aren't text based. These are actual voice conversations over the telephone with an AI.
Yeah, and it's a real-time voice agent. And not only that, I know they're using tool under the hood and stuff like that. And they do it really, really good. I mean, they do it in real time. There's no like delay or something like that. It feels really natural. And I mean, I'm a technologist, so I like to talk with LLMs sometimes, but I understand you that you're saying, I don't want to talk with with an LLM. Give me a real human. I need the answer. But they're doing it really good, and the escalation is proper. I mean, really good. My claps to this company.
Yeah,
They're really good.
that's
By
fantastic. I've
the
never come across the AI, the verbal, the spoken AI agent with customer
Yeah,
service.
yeah, there are some companies who do it really good. I understand it's really difficult for humans to get, okay, it feels like the LLM won't really help me by inquiries too complicated. But I think this is the field where we're going to see LLMs really control the fields, the customer relationship.
Hmm. The thing that bothers me about those kinds of interactions is when the agent gets it wrong and they start telling me stuff that's not right. And
Hmm.
then if that happens, then not only do you have to chase it down, but maybe you've also made bad choices based on what the agent originally suggested. And I've used coding agents enough to know that they sometimes go down a rabbit trail and sometimes make some bad choices about what, like what packages to use or what implementations to try or what coding structures to utilize. And so, like, if I'm calling up, the airline and I'm trying to change my ticket, I need to be sure that that ticket is like accurate and like, that the times are right and that the seat is right and all that stuff. And I don't know, I'm still a little wary about trusting the agent to put me in the right seat on the right plane and everything.
I understand the concern. And, I mentioned earlier the health customer agent and I mean, I bet the company that implemented this solution thought we're going to implement it and give people health advices. This is even more dangerous. There's risk for every kind of those use cases, but I think the risk of not doing it is probably higher for those companies.
For the companies, but what about for the users? What do you think?
Um, sorry. In my opinion, it's gonna be harder for people which are not tech savvy to you know believe those solutions. I mean, I believe it most of the times, and I'm not a health expert and not a flight expert, so it might be wrong. I mean, I don't know any. I didn't encounter any any airline AI solution. It's interesting actually to see it, but it will be really suck if it get wrong, and I get like on the wrong flight or something like that. But
Yes.
in my opinion, I actually canceled my flight like a week ago or so, and I tried to talk with the customer support, and it was human customer support, and they did, in my opinion, I'm sorry, a really bad job, and it was really hard for me to try to reschedule this flight, and I thought to myself, here, like in this scenario, I will prefer to talk to an LLM. I mean, the human here, the human here did not help me. So, in my opinion, an LLM, because they asked me about what specific other dates I would like to reschedule my flight, and I had to tell him every time, and he had to check if it's possible. I mean, for an LLM, I could just tell him, well, I don't know, give me the cheapest flight on I don't know, on March, and he probably could go and do that, or tell me I can't do that. With humans it's harder. I mean, especially when I'm not an English native speaker, and sometimes our customer support is not in Israel. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I guess we just have to sort of learn the boundaries of what these things can do, right? So, like, like if I'm talking to, do you have an iPhone or are you an
Yeah.
Android? iPhone, yeah,
Uh,
my man. So, like, if you're talking to Siri, you know that you can ask her to set an alarm or start a timer or turn up your brightness or turn down the volume. But if you asked her to delete an email account or to, filter your emails or, there's certain stuff that she can do and stuff that she can't do. But the important thing is that she knows what she can do and can't do. And so if I ask Siri to, I don't know, delete the last text thread with Roy, then she knows that that's not something that she's capable of doing. I don't know if the LLMs know that. Like they're so eager to please.
Oh my god, I'm so excited for Siri to get smart so soon with the Gemini deal,
Mhm.
because it's something I've been waiting for. I mean, I saw the demo for Apple Intelligence, and where it notify you that your grandma is on that flight, and you need to go and pick it up and stuff like that. And I thought, I mean, if someone could put it up, it will be Apple. And then Siri is still not as good as we expected, but I think, as I mean, I'm an Apple fan. Sorry, I think as every other thing they do, just give it a time, and I think it's probably going to be amazing right now when Siri will get smart, and if you have the Apple ecosystem, it could do like amazing stuff. I mean, I have cameras on my house connected to my HomeKit. I have everything. I mean, connected. Other than my cats, I think everything else there is connected to Apple ecosystem. So the integration together can do like amazing stuff and automation, and
And the thing
everything
about
about
Apple
it.
is that the ecosystem is closed. So if you wanted to feed your iMessages to some agent as a part of software, that's not something that's an option. Like it's not possible to do unless you're Apple. Uh, they've got an opportunity, I think, just like Android does, uh, to harness all that they know about you. And the good thing about Apple is that a lot of the compute is done on device. That the edge based uh, LLM computing stuff is really smart. And so getting smaller models that can run on your phone, I think solves a lot of privacy issues too.
I bought this. I have the iPhone 17 Pro Max, and I bought it because I thought it could be the only model that could run like Edge SLM, small language models or something like that. Hopefully, it will come, and then they probably will use. I don't know. In my from what I wrote, they're gonna use like a small version of Gemini on phone for some of the stuff, and it's going to be routing. And if it's complicated, they go to the Apple Cloud, and it's going to be secure in the same way Apple secure everything. And boy, it could be amazing. It could be like that's it. I mean, that's the game changer. I mean, it's probably going to affect ChatGPT customers for sure. I mean, it's going to really affect them because, you know, Apple users are tend to be really tech savvy. If it's going to be really good, they're going to ditch it and probably, if it's going to be paid for Apple Intelligence, people will do it. I will do it for sure. And
Well,
yeah.
here's the thing. I think there's going to be a bunch of antitrust stuff that goes on because if Apple signs up with Gemini and that's the only large language model that you can use to integrate with your operating system, that's an antitrust issue, right? Just like it was with Safari and Chrome on the phone. Like now there's like a whole mechanism for switching your default browser and switching your default search engine. But when the iPhone first came out, none of that existed. Like your default was your default. And then there were lawsuits and blah, blah, blah. And I think all that same stuff is going to happen.
It is gonna happen, but we'll see how it goes because maybe I don't know. They're gonna have their developer event, and they're gonna have the app developers do their integration with Apple Intelligence with this new world, and we'll see how it goes because not everybody is gonna use Gemini. Maybe they're gonna use. I mean, even the model they're gonna use, it's gonna be Gemini with change of model weights. So it's not really gonna be Gemini. It's under the hood Gemini, but really great to move. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not an Android expert, but I think Google probably, I mean, gonna have their own thing. And I saw how Gemini is integrated into Google Home actually, and it's really amazing too. I tried it, and you can actually ask about smart stuff on your smart home. Like you can ask Gemini to turn off the lights, and do all those automation in your house. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, no, I have cameras around my house. I use the Nest ones, so it's integrated home. And every evening I get the home brief where it tells me everything that happened at my house, which I think is amazing. My wife hates it. She's like, "Would you stop with the home brief already?" But yeah, that tells me that, a deer walked by and there were some chickens in the yard and somebody rode by on a bicycle. I think that stuff's fascinating. It just highlights the key things around the house, like if UPS came, that sort of thing, to deliver a package. That integration is definitely cool, but it's more sort of like observational and less sort of active in terms of like, oh, you weren't home and so I locked your doors for you, kind of thing. Which you can set up those automations. Those are just like rule based, but they're not agent based, if you know what I mean.
Well, my cat toilet, they have an automated toilet, and they have an AI in it. They have a camera in it. It recognizes which cat was on the bathroom, did what, and I get like an LLM that I can ask about it. I just saw it release, and I saw it. It's the company called Toya. Really, really good company actually. It's great
Oh yeah,
product.
TOYA,
TUYA, yeah.
UYA.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
they have smart home as well, so you connect all your smart devices over it. But the
But
smart cat toilets, it's really, I mean,
it's
it's
like a
such a niche.
litter box.
Yeah, it's such a niche. How many people like their cat to have a smart cat toilet? But
That's that's wild. Yeah, no, people who have cats tend to really, really love their cats, and I've met a fair number of cat people that would love nothing better than to monitor their cat's digestive health.
I have my vacuum robot. It's the Dreamy model. It has this mode where it can, scan my house and look for my cats. Not clue, just look for them and take a picture.
Go find Rusty, huh?
Yeah.
No, I tried the vacuum thing, but I have to keep the house too clean for the vacuums to work. So it's kind of an irony, right? So I would love vacuums where they would just go, but like if I leave a charging cable, like if there's a charging cable for my phone that's like laying out on the ground, then the vacuum eats it and dies, and then I have to take the vacuum apart
Mm.
and so on.
So,
So
so there's new smart ones that actually, see obstacles, and some of them even Roborock have like an arm that can move it.
shut up.
Yeah.
I love.
I'm a vacuum expert. It's the Robot Saurus problem, by the way.
What's the best one?
I have the Dreamy, and I really like them because the camera and the looks for my cat. But I
Mhm.
was really hoping for a vacuum that it's part of the Apple ecosystem, and everything works together, and probably because that's the thing about smart houses, and the possibility of AI with it. If it was integrated and there was a one ecosystem, because I have so many devices from different companies, that
Yeah.
would be great.
Yeah. Google definitely has done better with the home Google Home than Apple did with HomeKit. Uh,
For sure.
unless something has changed in the last 2 or 3 years. I switched from Apple to Google, probably 2 years ago, and it is significantly more reliable just in terms of connectivity and speed and that sort of thing. So Apple's got some catching up to do on that front, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so what's the next big thing? What did you join Microsoft for? What do you do there?
I'm gonna do a job there. I'm gonna work with startups on the AI and that data subject of matter. So I'm gonna work with customers, same way that I did in PwC, but I'm gonna work with them on the Azure part of the world. So I'm gonna work with Azure have Microsoft Fabric, which is like the data platform. And Azure have so many, the reason I really joined Microsoft because I followed all the cloud companies. I saw what they do. And I think the vision Microsoft has about agentic AI and how it's going to be part of the organization. It's really like the greatest vision I saw, and I thought to myself, well, I gotta be a part of it. I love it. I really like the vision, and I'm really excited to be there. I mean, people are amazing. The vision is amazing, and it's a big step. I love it. It's the way they treat the agentic AI. I think it's the only company that see right now that agents gonna be employees, and that to treat them as employees and think further about that.
Fascinating. I'm still a little skeptical. So thinking about the hyperscalers, Azure has Fabric, and Google's got Vertex, right?
Yeah.
And you've got SageMaker and a bunch of others. Have you evaluated, like, compared them? Which ones do you prefer the best, just from a hyperscaler perspective?
It really depends on the use case. I work on PwC with many clients. Each of them use different cloud providers, so I had to use their cloud providing and stuff. I think all the companies they each one of them solved different problems they had. Like AWS solved different problems. Google solved really well the data world, and they're really good with agents, and they have ADK, which is a really good agent platform in my opinion, framework. Microsoft, by the way, have a Microsoft Agent Framework, which is also open source, and AWS have Agent Core, which is really good product too. So they have each of them have really good solutions, and it always depends on the customer needs and what they have right now. I mean, if the clients works with GCP, you go for GCP and you'll see what there. But it's really good to learn from it. But many clients work hybrid. They have some of it on GCP, some of it on others, and as a developer, it's really fun, to work with because you get to know everything from everything, and there's so many really good good use cases. And uh, when I worked here in PwC, I had really good use cases with government offices. They had really good use cases of agents and LLMs, and I really see the impact of it because I really see those chatbots and LLMs on production, and I see how it helps people to find information about their government departments really easily.
Huh. Yeah, no, that's good. They do the large language models are great for search and for uncovering information and distilling a lot of stuff down into exactly what you need to hear. But what do you think things are going to look like in 5 years? I've got a really skeptical kind of point of view on what large language models are doing to people. I keep I saw a congressional hearing not long ago about how things like TikTok and all the other social media are so bad. Like, they have such bad effects on people, and particularly teenagers that are using them. It seems to me that the large language models are just as bad, if not worse, in a lot of ways. Are you optimistic or pessimistic? Do you agree that what are the big pitfalls and what's coming in the next 5 years?
I think LLMs will bring, cures and medicines. I really believe that. I think it's something that's gonna happen. They're gonna discover new materials, and it's really gonna help and benefit human lifespan and human life quality. But it is comes with a price, and I think the price is uh, 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 the mind and how it's gonna affect our mind and our because social media, as much as I love social media and I love LinkedIn, it has its cost. And I think with LLMs, it will solve, some of people's loneliness maybe, but as much as it will make people not even looking for human interaction because it solves their loneliness. And it is going to affect, let's say for school. I don't know how kids, I don't have kids yet, but how kids are learning today. I mean, why would you learn today if you have like all the information in the chatbot? I mean, how do you teach as a teacher? That's something I'm not very an expert on the education and how people teacher are teaching today with AI, but I mean it sounds for me like a problem. I mean, why would I listen to a teacher where I can just have an LLM? And why would I even learn why would I even learn how to code if I'm people are not coding anymore? I mean, what's going on? I mean, it has as much as problems that it solves. I mean, I'm really scared about a world where LLMs are gonna. I don't know. I believe I'm still saying thank you to ChatGPT. I think it will remembers my thank you and appreciate it. And I'm polite. You know,
So you're treating it nicely for when it's our overlord.
I mean, I'm trying.
I don't hate that. But yeah, that's to me, it's like you're completely right. Most teachers that I've come across are just sticking their heads in the sand on this and saying, don't use it. You can't use it. It's cheating, blah, blah, blah. But at the same time, it's a tool. And I honestly don't know what the world is going to be like when, like once Elon Musk's releases his robots, which I will buy on day one. And everybody's got a household robot to do your laundry and clean your toilets and make your bed and stuff. And I don't know, I think Twitter and LinkedIn and all these are going to become a wasteland of bot generated content if they're not already. So
Yeah.
when Elon Musk bought Twitter, somebody estimated like 95% of the content on Twitter was generated by bots. But now it's so easy to generate content. It's like, what are those platforms even for? But then, of course, if we stop writing and creating new stuff, then there's no new stuff to train the large language models on, and they sort of stagnate a bit, I think. So,
That's right. Like that's like the big problem because they always release a better models which trains on more data, but as time goes, more of the data is going to be synthetic and LLM generated. So LLM is going to train and study based on LLM generated content. So it probably go worse. It get worse for the do. It's funny. I don't know how they gonna solve it. I don't know. I mean, but by the way, most of the industry talking about the transformers is not the final. It will not be AGI if that's what people think. There will be something else. I mean, at the end of it, transformers they just predict the next best token. It really did it well. Um, and there's really like what's going on right now with Molbot and all those stuff. I mean, if you guys heard about that, that's crazy. Like people do
hey,
crazy stuff with it. Like they have this if you heard about that, they have their own social media. They even have a website when they can rent humans to do a job that they can do,
hey, Roy,
like
hold that
human
thought. I've got to
labor.
grab the door real quick. We're about done. We have like maybe 5 minutes to
Yeah.
wrap up. Let me go grab the door real quick. 1 second.
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah, no problem.
Hi, boss. Hello. Yes, perfect. Okay, awesome. Very good. Yeah, just right with you, bro. Oh, cool. Thank you. All right. Sorry about that. They're just bringing. I bought a couch, and I've been waiting on it forever. Now they're here delivering it, and they're like, you know, it's so hard to get them here. Anyway, sorry. Continue. I didn't mean to
Oh,
interrupt.
Uh, well, was just saying that I was thinking about what's people are talking about right now, and people are mostly talking about Moltbot, Cloudbot. It has so many names; the names change every time, but mostly they talk about it because right now it has the ability to connect itself to every kind of external tool. It can even without you, if you allowed it to do anything, it can you know by itself on Twitter phone number and then call you. It can call on your behalf and it can do like amazing stuff. It's 100% not secure, which I don't recommend to run on your personal machine, and you need to be really careful with it because it can control your entire computer and do whatever it likes. But it's really really amazing how it became a trend. And the really big story right now is how it's about Molt Book, which how agents actually created their own social media where they complain about their humans, which is like really funny. I don't know how reliable it is, but it's hilarious.
That's hilarious. All right, give us a warning or a recommendation. So, to say there's somebody out there that has never used ChatGPT, doesn't know very much about this AI thing, and they're skeptical, but they are curious too. So, what would you give that person some advice?
Well, I think my favorite LLM is Claude for sure. And I think a person who never touched either one of those AI tools and want to be like their jaw drop should probably go and check out Claude and let it build for him stuff, because I think what Claude really defined that how AI become a commodity, and the thing that you can do with it. I mean, you can do amazing stuff with it. Application, and it's so smart and can do like if it's something that's related to generated stuff out of nothings, and not like reading stuff and more like creating stuff. Claude is amazing. I mean, it's such an amazing tool. They do an amazing job over there. And I heard Claude 5 is going to release this week or next week. So I'm really excited about that too, because it's probably is the smartest person on the planet right now. It's amazing.
So, you say I need to cancel my ChatGPT Pro and move over to Claude, huh?
No, I'm keeping my ChatGPT because it already has my memories, which I
Yes,
can export out of it, and it
yes,
knows me well. So I need a memory, I need a personalization. That's something Claude are not as good as ChatGPT.
yeah, that's fair. Well, hey Roy, thank you so much for taking the time. This has been really fun to talk, and I'm excited to hear about how it goes at Microsoft and see the cool things you do there.
Thank you, Greg. It was an honor for me to talk with you. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Likewise. All right, thanks so much. I really appreciate it.